Good evening, everybody. Hope we're all having a great Taco Tuesday. I had some tacos today. Hope you had some tacos. If not, get some tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. Uh, Overall, market didn't do a lot. At the same time, it did do a lot. Uh, let's go over what happened today. We opened up right here, red line, at 39.69. Foremost, we opened up inside the day's range, inside previous day's value. Pretty bad risk reward. So any trade that you were taking early on in the day was not very good risk reward as the market didn't know what to do, right? A period opens up, we push down, we try to take out the previous day's low. We don't do that. We push back up. And then finally in B period, we get above the open, we take out A's high, we start the one time frame up. We get into that set of single prints from the previous day. So this whole area, right? This area that I just marked with a pink arrow for some reason. I'll always click that. But this whole section right here was where single prints were, is where you can find resistance or sellers in this area. So whenever you were trading today, on that push up in B and in C period, you could have looked for a short here, as there were obviously still supply in this area. And you can kind of see that if I go here to our 5 minute time frame. Uh, Go ahead and maximize that. You can see here in C period and in B period, we pushed up in to that set of single prints from the previous day where there was some consolidation, right? If I were to zoom out, you can see a little bit of consolidation here. And then uh, from the previous, in the after hours, and then from the previous day, right? It was all just a big sell-off right through here. So you knew there was going to be some resistance pushing back up into this area. And we chopped around here for a good portion of the day in the pre-market and then the after hours. So once we pushed up into this area, you knew there might be a chance for some resistance. Do not know why we just zoomed in so much. But you're looking for sellers when you push up into an area where there's single prints above. Same thing for a set of single prints below. For example, I don't have an example right now, but usually if they're below, then you're looking for people to be buyers. Above, you're looking for sellers. So this time around we had it above. So in B and in C period, when we pushed up, we were looking to find some supply or sellers and to stay in the lower distribution. That's where we traded at majority of the day, was right here in the lower distribution. We attempted to get up into the upper distribution. Remember that set of single prints separates distribution. So A's high to H's low is one distribution, and then J's low or J's high to M period's low is another distribution. And we traded pretty much in that lower distribution for the majority of the morning. And then finally, after C period pushed up, we didn't fill that set of single prints. So we took back a good portion of it. So now we have less supply in this area. We have that high of day, or we have now set a high of day in for today. We back off. D period takes out C's low. We start to get a liquidation break. Takes out B's low. We get more of a liquidation break. Takes out A's low. More of a liquidation break. Now algos have their sights set on the previous day's low, which is which was our balance low. We take that out. So now the daily goes from balance to down. After we take out that daily low, the next downside destination for these algos and short-term traders to hit is the 9 wide POC from the 21st. So guess what? We come down, we push into it, we take it out, so that goes away. So we hit that 9 wide target, and we just missed the previous week's low. If we had taken that out today, we would have put the weekly back into a balance. So we just missed getting that previous weekly low, which is also the low of day from the 21st. So after D period did that, we had a set of single prints right below basically the previous day's low. Uh, Initially, it looked somewhat like that. And then in E period, when we pushed up, it began to look more like that. And then we eventually filled later on in G period. And then there was no single prints. But you can kind of see that in this area, there was still some type of resistance against that previous day's low, because anybody that was trying to get long in this lower distribution, which at the time was the balance low on the daily, looking for a rotation up into this upper distribution, maybe to get rid of some of it, divvy it out. Anybody that was absorbing any product down here, we're hoping to sell it up higher. That failed because we took out that previous day's low, and anybody that was caught in this area obviously was still trying to get out of their position at a relatively close price to where they were buying. So GHI, we pretty much, we're struggling to get back into that lower distribution. And then finally in J period, we ran some stops. We ran I, H, and G stops, popping up towards the open, getting an afternoon rally high, and then rolling back over. So basically, we played below the lower distribution from the previous day and value low from today, just chopped around for the majority of the evening after getting that liquidation break in D period. Pretty much traded all of D's range after that liquidation break all day long. We never took out the low, we never took out the high. We did take out um, our initial balance high, then we take out our initial balance low in D period. So MGI was kind of mixed for majority of the day. It was a scratch day for me, as market generated information was pretty tough to read. I had some pretty good trades later in the day, as I took a pretty good short in G period at the time. Took a pretty good short up here against the 144 and against this supply area. Uh, and then we backed off good portion. I had a really good trade on that. I had a 5 lot up there at 60, 59, 57 range. And then as we backed off, I began to get out of that position, scale out. So early on in the day, I did take a couple losses trying to short in this mess. And just kept, as we pulled down, I was short, and then we'd pop up and I'd get stopped out, and I'd come back down, I'd short, we'd pop up. So pretty bad trade location in early on in the day, as we were just pretty much chopping around. Not very good risk reward, as uh, we just chopping, not a whole lot going on. And that was after we had taken out that balance low in D period. I was trading in F and G, not a lot was going on. So only time I really made money was in that pullback in G period initially, and then when we really decided to flush in H period is where I made majority of the money on that final push down in H period. So that was a good short. I got out of the market after that point because I had an appointment to go to. So overall, we end with today's high, which is where single prints start, an afternoon rally high, a 9 wide POC, and then today's low. One thing to note is we did close back into the previous day's range. That does not mean the daily is still balanced. That just means we close back in. We'll look to, maybe find acceptance back into that range and then take out today's high. Then we'll go back into a balance. But for now, the daily has gone from balance to now down. And we'll look to continue to rotate downward and maybe get that previous weekly low. Let's go ahead and put our destinations here. So now we got the single prints there from the 28th, and now today's high day from the 29th. So now that becomes a high of day. It's where single prints start, and single prints fill at 39.8350. Let me get this correct. 75. Let's go ahead and mark our other destinations here. We have an afternoon rally high at 39.6950. 39.6950. Boop. Afternoon rally high. So if we push up to that area, you can look initially for a quick scalp short against that level, uh, as we did not see that at any point in time later in the day. It was just a quick stop run. So if we do push up, you'll look to see if there are any more sellers there, because anybody that was looking for a reason to buy were buying above that open and then got smoked as we liquidated back down in K or in J and then in K. So we got that afternoon rally high. We have a 9 wide POC here at 55.50. E's high. So point of control, our mean. So all that means is we could look for maybe a reversion back to that mean if we open up here and we get back into value. So say we open up above the afternoon rally high, we don't take out the day's high, we decide to rotate back down, we get into that value. Once you get into that value or in J's range, you can look to take a short to come down to that point of control or the mean. Mean reversion trades usually work out really well. They do have some pretty high risk though. And then we have the low of day. And then we'll look at the larger time frame charts. So 41.25 is our low day here. Low day 11.29. So let's zoom it out here so you guys have an idea. We're in a 4-day balance, this range. We came out of that balance here. We look to continue to come one time frame down. So we kind of ruined that trend of higher highs, higher lows. We've now set a lower high and a lower low. We look to continue that and create another lower high and lower low and potentially getting that weekly balance low from the 21st at 39.3750. Let's go to the daily. Monthly, weekly, and then daily is what we'll look at. We'll just show the real time. So monthly, we never did really test the top of our monthly balance, but we got close, right? We don't necessarily have to get to it. It was a large range, but we got close enough and we backed off. The trend so far of lower highs on the monthly has stood. We'll see what the month of December has for us if we take out this month's high and test the monthly balance high. If we get above this trend line or not. The high that matters the most to me is at 43.28. That high will determine whether or not on the monthly, on larger time frame, if we start to grind back up near the highs. Of course, going into next year, not this year. Weekly. Weekly is still technically one time frame and up because we have not taken out this week's low or last week's low, the previous week's low at 37.50. So if we take that out, then we'll put the weekly into a balance. That'll be our whole balance right there. That's if we take out this low. So if, then we'll look to go to that low. And as you can see, the trend continues of lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Daily. Same thing on the daily. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We never got above that trend line. We never got above that 200-day moving average. We are now one time framing down, attempting to backtest the 20-day moving average at 25.95. You might as well just call it 26. So 26, we're looking to back test, and that's just below that previous weekly low at 37.34. So this was our balance in this range, right? We've now taken that out. We've closed below that range. So we look to continue to one time frame down on the daily. If we, for any reason, get above this afternoon rally high from today, fill the set of single prints and take out this day's high, then the daily goes back to balance. And you look to maybe rotate back up to this afternoon rally high from the 29th or the 28th, excuse me. I forgot to put it in yesterday. Put it in today. So that's upside destinations, and then you'll look to test the 40.1775 where the gap starts, and then 40.2525 where the gap fills. For the downside, if we find acceptance below the previous balance on the daily, then we'll test that POC, rotate through it at 55.50, go to the low of day, we'll take that out, 39.4125, continue to one time frame down. If that happens, then you'll look to test that weekly balance low, or that previous weekly low at 39.3750. If we get below that, then the weekly goes from up to balance, and then you look to see how much of the other week that you can take back. Only other destination below that is at 39.1375, and then remember the 20-day moving average is somewhere in this range. So, that being said, hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming by, watching. Do appreciate it. If you leave a like, and if you're new, please subscribe. If there's anything I can improve on as far as explanation, or maybe what my thought process was in breaking down the chart, let me know in the comment below. Hope you all have a wonderful day. See you later.